This episode of the Rendezvous with Ruth podcast is brought to you by Ruth Dorsainville, Lifestyle CEO Coaching. If you are looking to create a business that provides you the financial freedom to live and work from anywhere in this world, the Lifestyle CEO Coaching Program provides you the opportunity to create an online business that allows you to focus on the things that matter the most. Time. Time to connect with your loved ones. Time to travel and experience new cultures. Time to learn new skills. Time to grow your business. Coaching is the most valuable tool you can use. It is an investment in yourself, providing you with the highest return: happiness. The Lifestyle CEO Coaching Program will help you clarify and focus to start your own online business, help you leverage your time, help you hire the best team to get your business automated, and accountability to help you achieve anything you have ever dreamed. To help you get started, Ruth Dorsainville is offering you a free strategy session valued at $300. To get started, visit www.ruthdorsainville.com/thelifestyleceo.
Hello, welcome to the Lifestyle CEO, a rendezvous with Ruth, where we help entrepreneurs create freedom from their business. Today we have Hudson. Adam is a pioneer in the Amazon industry. He actually built a company that made over $500 million of sale. Today we want to discuss his journey, how he came to where he is right now, so that if you are looking to take your business to the next level, or if you are currently working and you don't like your job and you want to move forward and have a part-time business, a real solid part-time online business, then move on and retire in terms of having a lifestyle that you are looking for, Adam is the guy for you. So today we want to get into detail in regards to how it came about, because he started not too long ago, a few years ago, but there was a journey, and we want to be able to discuss the ins and outs that he was able to overcome, because we all know that you are where you are right now when you want to make that jump. So, through his story, we hope to inspire you to make the shift should you want to. So, Adam, welcome.
Thanks, Ruth. Great to be here.
Glad to be here. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to have you. Adam will be speaking at a great event in Brisbane, but he's been speaking around the world with leaders such as Tony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki, and to tell us more about the event that's taking place right now.
Yeah, so I'm just about to do a speaking tour with Gary Vaynerchuk, or Gary V as he's affectionately known, and Grant Cardone. So it's a 4-city tour. We're doing Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, and Auckland, New Zealand. So that's going to be super fun. So that's coming up shortly. That's
beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. I will be there. If you guys don't have your ticket, get your ticket right away. It's an event not to be missed if you are in the Australia area. Yeah. So first, I want to get more. Let's find out who you are, because we've seen you on the media, and we know that you have this great company, and just tell us more as to where you come from. Where were you born? Are you Gold Coast guy, or where are you from?
I actually grew up in Canberra, which is the nation's capital. So it's a little country town where the politicians live, basically. So I lived in Canberra and surrounding areas for my childhood. And I was born in Adelaide, but grew up in Canberra. And then I've lived and worked in the United States and all over Australia as well.
Beautiful,
yeah.
Beautiful. So when you grew up, were you an entrepreneur? Like, when did you become an entrepreneur? What made you decide? At what age did you become an entrepreneur?
Look, I think it was probably around, 10. I was always wanting to find ways to make money. And so my brothers and I were always trying to do something. So I was mowing lawns. I borrowed Dad's lawnmower, and I would wash cars and do all that sort of stuff. So very early on, I wanted to make my own go of things. So that's really, it's always, I think, been in my blood. I don't know why, but I've always enjoyed the process of thinking of an idea and trying to turn it into a business.
Beautiful. Oh, you come from a big family? How many siblings do you have?
2 kids outside of me. So 3 boys and my parents. So yeah, just a normal working class family. None of us went to university. We just went to high school and then went to work. So.
Okay. Yeah. And are you the only entrepreneur in your family?
Not really. I mean, we're all business owners, all 3 of us. And So yeah, we're a bit different in the terms of the type of business, but we're all in business and do our own things. Yeah.
So now, tell me, what was your first business as an entrepreneur?
Well, my very first one was Amway. I think I got somebody came up to me and said, "You look like a young man that's going somewhere," and said I drew the circles and showed me the plan. And what was great about Amway is it got me into reading. So they would say, read these books every month. And that got me into the magic of thinking big and Think and Grow Rich. And so the one thing I took away from multi-level marketing was the education around the books. And then I went on from there. And yeah, I haven't had a job since I was, I think 22 was the last time I had a job, and I'm 45 now. So I've been a full-time entrepreneur for 22, 23 years.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, when did you founded Reliable Education?
So Reliable Education came about in 2015. I just sold my animation studio in Hollywood. I was living and working in LA making cartoons, and I was just looking for a life change. You know, I'd done pretty well out of business in the US, and but I got to a point where it was just too full on, and I was getting older, and I wanted to move back to Australia. I wanted to live near the beach, and I just wanted to change. So yeah, and Amazon was my side hustle. So it was what I was doing around my animation studio. And so it was just not something that I ever took that seriously. I was just like, oh, this is fun, making a physical product that you can hold in your hands rather than selling a digital service or a digital product. I love the idea of coming up with a brand and coming up with a box and doing all of that. And as it turns out, my timing was perfect. That was 2011. And by 2015, it was doing really, really well. And I was able to sell the animation studio, still have an income coming in from all over the world because of Amazon. So that just continued to grow.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I read in one of your stories through my own research that you from Australia you moved to the United States, and I remember in one of the videos you mentioned that there was a certain level that you wanted to accomplish or to inspire you to be, but the people around you didn't really find people around you that had the same dream as you did. Can you tell us more about that, and where were you at this point in your life?
I think everybody struggles with that. You know, they're surrounded by people that don't necessarily want to do too much more than what they already are, and it's one of the most important things is to get a network of great people around you. But for me, I guess the idea of moving to America was like a pipe dream. My girlfriend at the time, she was super passionate about going to America. She really wanted to go to America because of what she was doing in her life, and I was like, yeah, I'd love to go too, not as much as her. But when I got there, I was like, yeah, this is great. You know, I'm really enjoying this. But I just got to a point in my life where I needed change. And I was just like, I want to go do something, and conquering a new country and starting a business there from scratch and then building it and selling it. That's a pretty big deal. Yeah. The amount of personal growth that you have to go through. You've got, like Tony Robbins says, the quality of your life will be determined by the amount of uncertainty that you can comfortably live with. And so if you want to make your life uncertain, move countries, start a new business, you know, all at once. And, you know, we started from, you know, absolute scratch over there. We filled the house we got a rental apartment and filled it with IKEA furniture. It cost us about $4,000. And we started from nothing, like literally from nothing. And, you know, the business did really well, and it turned out great.
Was there any point that you felt that, what am I doing? This is crazy. You know, let me go back to Australia where it's much more comfortable. I don't have to go through any of this.
I have those moments now, let alone then. I think we all have those moments. No matter where you are in life, there's going to be moments where you go, what the hell am I doing with myself, you know? But certainly, there were certainly moments of that where you're like, what am I thinking? Because I didn't know the legal system. I didn't know really anybody. I probably knew 6 people. Wow. Well, maybe 10. I didn't really know anyone. So, but it was such an adventure, you know, because we'd put all of our stuff, we'd either gotten rid of it or put it into storage. And actually, it's quite interesting. The 18 months leading into leaving a country is really interesting, or 6 months, or however long it takes you. Because you really, I read Tim Ferriss's book, and in there he talked about, he put a sign over his door when he wanted to simplify his life, and it just said simplify. So every time he walked in the door, he would have that in mind and not accumulate and downsize. And we did that for like the last 6 months and just downsized our life until the day that we went to leave. Our whole life was in 2 suitcases and everything else was in a small storage shed. Look, it literally was like 10 boxes, 10 packing boxes. And we got rid of everything out of our life and just walked out of Australia with 2 suitcases and a little bit of money, and that was it.
That's beautiful, and I want to emphasis on that, on the part of simplifying your life, because a lot of the time people make things so much bigger than it is. But if you look at around you and all the things that, even let's say for clothing, if you haven't worn something for 6 months, most likely you don't need more clothing, right? So we're very much fill our house and everything else with stuff that we don't need, right? So by being able to address that, you were able to make that shift. So that I'm happy that you mentioned that.
Yeah, I mean, I cannot remember feeling ever so light. You know, you just feel free when you don't have stuff. And I think that's a constant balance, especially as you grow and your business becomes successful and you start to accumulate stuff, because it's really deep in people that they've got to have stuff to show their success. And it's a constant battle.
Now, you mentioned a few things. So you mentioned that's part of your education. Your first one was, which I think is a very good one. I've been part of network marketing in the past as well. It's a great system in terms of learning how to grow and what kind of books to read and the daily habits that you need to have. And you also mentioned Tim Ferriss. So what has been one of your, would say, mentor or that you've been inspired to who you've learned from in this journey to helping you with your growth?
Yeah, look, it's mainly been through books and podcasts. I haven't had a one-on-one mentor actually ever. So somebody that I sit down with once a month and riff with. I've never had that, but I have had books. And, at the various stages, different mentors on different areas of my life. But, Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Workweek was great. I read that years and years ago. More recently, I think the book, The One Thing by Gary Keller is an absolute cracker. The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer is just, for spiritual growth, is amazing. Over the years, I've read so many books, and certain authors you connect with, certain messages. In the early days, Jim Rohn, where he was still alive at the time, my first ever live seminar was Jim Rohn. And that's when I thought I'd love to do something like what Jim does, inspire people in big rooms. And and so personal growth has always been part of my life as an adult, and that has just made the world of difference over time.
It's beautiful, and I love all those books. I've read all of them, and I just find that it's business is a spiritual growth, it's a personal growth, right? So in order for you to grow, you have to grow internally, so that and which display your outside world, right? So now, in regards to your when you were in Los Angeles, so you were there for how many years before you got back to?
About 4.5 years, something like that. Yeah.
And you decided to come back to start the Amazon business, because I guess you started it in Los Angeles, correct?
So I already had the Amazon business for 4 years at the time of exit. So when I sold the company, I'd had Amazon on the side for 4 years, and I've now had it for 8 years. So so that's when I came home, 2015. So I basically was in Bali at the time, actually. And I was doing a retreat for serious anxiety and panic disorders that I was suffering from in Los Angeles. I just couldn't deal. And I basically had a breakdown, really. I had four companies in Los Angeles, and it was just too much. And one day my body told me it was too much in its own little way. So I ended up going to Bali on a retreat, and I decided it was time to sell. And I'd had brokers that I'd spoken to prior who were very keen to sell it for me. They said, we'll sell this right away. It's an amazing business. And I rang them from Bali and said, here's my price. And within a week, I had 2 written offers for more than my ask. So I took one of them and went home, picked up the check, and then I came to Australia and bought a place on the beach with some of the money and just changed my life.
Beautiful. Now, what is the new belief system that you have now when it comes to having a business? So before, you had 4 businesses going on and you were, going full force like most people do, right? And if you look at Instagram right now, you'll see that many people feel that, work 20 hours a day, if that's the only way to success, right? And, we've all been through that, right? I'm guilty of it myself. So what is your new belief system if anybody were to grow a company? And again, what would you tell yourself from, your younger self in regards to what's the right way to start a business?
It's interesting. I mean, Instagram is I'm going to be touring with Gary Vee, and he and I are very different. You know, he's a machine on social, 100 pieces of content a day. And he's not wrong. You know, that's where the world is going, is to produce ever more content. But at the end of the day, when we helicopter up, business is a component of life, it isn't life. Instagram is a component of business, it isn't life. But it's becoming more so that people's lives are Instagram, are whatever the latest social channel is. I think it's important to know thyself. You know, you have to know where you are in your own life. Is business a tool for you, or is it everything? You have to, that's a very personal answer. So I think for anyone watching or listening to this podcast, is to really forget about, you know, oftentimes people sort of approach business how they approach dating, you know, so they date based on looks. So I want the hot girl or the hot guy. But you know, we all know that if the personality sucks, it's going to lead to trouble. And business is the same. You can say, they have this illusion of what's attractive in a business, but it's not really based on any meaningful, highly customized thought about what they want in their life. What are the rules for playing the game? And again, to go back to the dating metaphor, when you first start dating, you know, you'll date any girl that smiles at you, or guy that smiles at you, whatever way you go. But as you get older, you're like, yeah, nice smile, but what else is going on there, you know? And you get this list over time, and you become much better at the dating game. And it's the same thing with business. You become much better at dating yourself with business ideas and strategies and concepts, because some people are just not suited to certain things based on what they want for their life. It's a very unique and personal thing.
I think it's beautiful the way that you've mentioned that, and I wanted to ask you, how would you define spiritual growth? And what is your I wouldn't say your belief system, but how would you describe your spiritual growth?
In a word, self-awareness, I think, is probably the word that first jumps to mind. Being aware of what's going on for yourself is really the nexus of, I think, growth in humans. Like when you notice that you're feeling a certain way because of something, well, first of all, if you just catch how you're feeling or how you're thinking, you catch yourself in the process of that, because thoughts are going to lead to actions, are going to lead to results. And if you can catch yourself at the beginning there in the thought process and be aware of your thoughts, then all of a sudden you've got your hands on the steering wheel of creation, right? So I think self-awareness is what jumps to mind for me, and for me, meditation has been the tool that's helped me the most in terms of self-awareness and being able to be aware. So spiritual growth to me starts there, and then that leads to presence of mind and being in the moment far more, and those sorts of things.
Beautiful. Which leads us to reliable.education, right? So to find you is www.reliable.education. So would you say that your goal has achieved now that you've gone through your journey? Do you feel like this is the place that this is your mission in life? You found your company, you found your spiritual growth, and this is an ongoing happy journey? Yeah,
look, I mean, Reliable Education is an amazing success story. You know, it's a business that has helped a lot of people. It's financially a very successful company, and it is doing something that I love, which is helping people. And what has made us successful, when I say us, my business partner Joe is at least equally responsible for our success, although I'm usually the one in the spotlight because I'm the speaker. But Joe and I have really, our mission was very simple. We looked at the industry of make money online. I mean, it's such a seedy, snaky business, you know, and, you know, you got guys standing in front of Ferraris and Lamborghinis saying, buy my course and I'll teach you in 12 easy secret steps how to get rich. And it's $47 for my ebook, then $197 for my next Ascension product. And then it's, you know, $4,000 for the course, you know. And it's all very engineered. And there's nothing wrong with engineering a business process if there's integrity and there's heart and truth in there as well. And that's the bit that we saw was missing, was, you know, I'd been selling on Amazon for half a decade personally before I even thought of doing a course. So we sort of said, look, we would love to do, it's one of the few businesses that we felt we could teach somebody else, because it's not about them as much. It's the product that they're transacting with. You know, that people are buying physical products. It's not like they're buying a coach, which is it's full inner game. If you don't have the inner game as a coach or a consultant, you can have the fanciest logo in the world, but you're not going to get any business as soon as people talk to you and see you're broken. Whereas with Amazon, you can have a really great product, and the product is what people are buying. So we started this idea, what if, you know, you went into a business teaching people, which is obviously from a business perspective, selling information's the dream business. You can manufacture an unlimited amount with zero manufacture costs because you're selling logins to a course. So for that reason, it attracts a lot of dodgy people. So what if you could use that business model, which is great, but not be a dick in the process and not treat people with disrespect and actually care and really try your very best. And you're sitting here in our studios on the wall here. We painted it in here when we fitted it out, the world's best Amazon training. That was our mission, and we have not slept a lot in the last 4 years trying to achieve that. And today it's become a success story because of the heart that we've brought to it. And people say, oh, we're going to copy reliable education. We're like, good luck. You know, it's not a formula. You can't fake it. It's 25 years of hard work prior to that in the making of who Joe and I are as people. It's all the hardship that we've been through. It's all the times we've been ripped off by information marketers that make us who we are. So it's very hard to replicate.
It's beautiful how you were a customer first. Right, so you've done it, you know, as you had your other business and you started off first, and then that's when you started to do the education. So you have, you know, you were on the, how do you call this? You were actually walking the talk, right, and actually doing the actual work. Yeah. So it's good that you're not just teaching, but you're actually a customer, and then now you're teaching and able to teach others. So it's, I love the fact that you were able to make that transition.
Yeah, and look, just to finish off on your prior point, you know, like people look at Joe and I's business today and go, wow, it's amazing, you know, like you guys are living the dream. And it's very easy on the outside to look in and you sort of, it's like social media, right? You think everybody's amazing except me. It's kind of designed to depress you, you know? But I wake up today with the same stresses and problems as most people in business because it's become a big business. So, you know, we have staffing issues and, well, we don't have a lot of staffing issues, but we have, you know, we have people in our business. So you've always got things going on. You've got, we don't have financial pressures as much as other businesses, but it's busy. And I still am very aware that it's part of my life and it may not be part of my life forever. I change, life change, markets change, businesses change. Who knows where Amazon will go? And I think you know, it's better just to be free flowing. You know, when you said, "Have you arrived?" I don't think I've arrived. I just think I'm at a moment in time that's an interesting moment in time, and we'll see where we are in 5 years and try to be as present as we can in the middle and be good on the way.
Beautiful. What would you say is a reliable education mission and core values and your vision? Where do you see with reliable education going?
So we have this sort of evil plan at the core of what we're doing, which is to, it's kind of a flywheel that we explain to our stakeholders, which is to educate. So we believe that education is the thing that separates the planet, really, and in so many ways, you know, and that's why if you want to see how a country's going, see how the kids are going at the level of education, which is where I've had deep concerns about the United States for a long time, is that they haven't, in my opinion, invested enough into their education system. And now we wonder why we have all these social problems at the other end of it, because the education system hasn't been taken care of enough. Teachers are underpaid and there's not enough money being put into that area. Not to talk politics, but it's, you know, it's a tragedy when I was living in America to see the divide. You know, it was such a great nation with so many great people, but just underinvestment in the wrong areas. So our first step is education, and we believe that education can change lives, and right across the board. So education, then liberation. So use that education to liberate people from their 9 to 5, you know, which they're stuck in. Most people are not enjoying what they're doing. They have more potential. So once we've educated and liberated them, then amplify. So get their story, put them onto our stage or through our social media channels, or amplify them through everything else that we do, so that it's not just the Adam show. Here's this guy Adam and he had this story, And people go, well, he's got a particularly big smile, or he's, you know, a born entrepreneur. He's been doing it for 25 years. But if we can get Dave, who's a, you know, like, well, Jamie, for example, is a real one. Jamie's a truck driver in Melbourne. He has 4 young kids. He drives trucks all day. He gets up at 3 in the morning. So we educated him. He recently got our Double Rhino Award, which means he made over $200,000 in a month, US, in sales. And so he's now liberated from the need to have a job. He knows how to make his own money. Now we're amplifying Jamie's story, which we're doing here right now today. And then the last piece is teaching him to give, because giving is where fulfillment lives. It's actually not money that brings fulfillment. And a lot of people think my joy is on the other side of that Ferrari, but it isn't. I've bought the Ferrari and there ain't no joy there, right? It's good for 4 weeks, and then after that, it's just a car that you got to pay bills on. So the real fulfillment is in the giving. And so from day one, we embedded giving into Reliable Education. So we started off with doing interest-free microloans for every course that we sold. And we've now done 8,000 loans interest-free to entrepreneurs in third world countries. We then started giving to a charity in Indonesia, based in Sanur, Bali actually, offering free eye surgery to the blind. There's 4 million blind people in Indonesia that could not be blind just for a $100 surgery. Kids, men, women, children. So we started supporting that, and now we are one of their largest supporters. We just gave them a mobile eye surgery clinic, or the money to build one, $265,000 donation from our student base and from our company. So thousands of people are now seeing each year as a direct result of the giving that we're getting, and that's where we get our fulfillment. So educate, liberate, because most people can't get to giving until they themselves are liberated from the need for money. So educate, liberate, amplify, give back. And if we can create that flywheel, now we have a foundation and it's run by our students. And our students now are organising trips to Bali and taking other students up there to experience watching somebody get their eyesight back. And that changes lives when you actually experience and you see a child who was blind, not blind because of the $100 donation you made. That makes you think about how you make your money. And it also makes you think about a much bigger why for what you're doing, because business is hard. And if you don't have an amazing why that really, truly, not just, oh yeah, I've got my goals list and that looks great. I mean, at your core, inspires you, at your core makes you go, I have to get up today. I have to do this for that reason. If you don't have that, if you haven't got kids, it's much harder. If you've got kids, you've got a big reason. But it gets harder when you've got money. When you've got kids and money, now what's your why? Well, you've got to find a why, you know. And so Paul Newman was a huge influence on me with his Paul Newman Zone, and they've done over $1 billion. 100% of the profit goes to charity in that business in perpetuity. And that's an exciting idea.
That's beautiful. Now, if somebody's sitting right now and they want to take the first step, what would be the first step in terms of, you know, being part of Reliable.education?
The first step would probably go and do our free course. There's a free 5-part video series. It's a lead-in to sell you our main course. It's a chance to try before you buy and just see if it feels right for you. Go through that 5-part video series. It starts off with, you know, what is Amazon? How do you find a product and all that? And if it feels great for you, then go ahead and get started. If it doesn't, keep looking and find something that does. But even before that, for anybody listening, what I'd recommend they do is, sit down and really think, how do I want my life to look? Like, if I had the ideal business, what would it be? Like, how many hours? Where would it allow me to work? Would it allow me to work anywhere, or in one spot? Do I want to touch the products I sell? Do I need services? Just really think about it, and then do a budget for their dream life. Because most people, they go on Instagram, they see these people floating in blown up pink flamingos in the back of the Hamptons mansions, and kids landing in helicopters, and they think that's what I need to be happy. It's just ridiculous. Like, the average person, 100, 200 grand a year after expenses, they are done. And these people are spilling 200 grand's worth of moe in a swimming pool, you know. It's just ridiculous. And so sit down and do those things. And then once you've got a really clear picture, then look. It's a bit like going dating without having a clear picture of what you want. You're not going to have any success until you've actually got clear on what you want. Then when you know what you want, then the game's on. So they can check it out there, or they can follow me on Instagram if they want to do that. I'm not 100 pieces of content a day, but yeah, if they want to come and hang out with me there, they're welcome to. Adam Hudson Official with underscores. Yeah, so that's it.
Well, for sure, we will have a link as to where you could log in order for you to have the 5-part video series. And that is this for, is there any age group? Do you have to be 18 and over? Or?
No, I might swear occasionally, but no. We have kids going through the program. We've got kids as young as 8 years old selling products on Amazon.
Really?
Yeah, right up to 80. So it's really cool for parents, particularly like if you're a parent watching this. Teaching your kids to sell products online, in my opinion, is something that you really should be doing, because the world is going digital and they have to compete on global stages now. So I think it's a really great education tool, if for no other reason.
And I believe that you're right. The digital world is the present and the future. So an 8-year-old right now, you know, probably already has an iPad and an iPhone, right? So it's very important. It doesn't matter how old you are to get in touch with where the world is going, or else you'll be left behind, right?
Yeah, and at the same time, educate kids about the, you know, the potential damage of all these things can do. Because if you haven't read it, a great book to read is Zucked. I don't know if you've read it yet, but it's really worth reading, especially if you have kids, about taking responsibility for the highly addictive nature of devices today. And just being very aware of that with your kids as well, and getting that sense of self deeply in place before they get too old, because this world we're in now is really doing a great job of destroying their self-esteem. That's true. So, yeah.
That's true. And is reliable that education available for anyone, everyone, anyone around the world?
Yeah, we have students in over 40 countries now, and it's super fun. We have an amazing community. The course is one piece, which is amazing, but the real thing we're proud of the most is the student community. They're just an amazing tribe of people. And the stat that you mentioned at the start, that the company has done 500 million, it's the 500 million is what our students have made, not us so far. So the students have done $500 million in sales so far on Amazon, which we're incredibly proud of.
That's beautiful.
And the company's done well as well, but yeah, it's a really cool, and that's the metric that we're most proud of, you know, what they're doing.
And one thing I wanted to also add in regards to the Amazon and your company is the system, right? So instead of, as you mentioned, by knowing what the lifestyle that you want to have, you have a system to back you up. And is that what Amazon and being part of Reliable Education offers you, the education to have order fulfillment? Is that
yes?
the
Yeah,
difference?
Amazon, the great thing about Amazon is you can ship all of your inventory into their warehouses. That's what we teach. So you don't actually hold any inventory at home. You don't touch any of the products. You own them, but they sit in Amazon's fulfillment centers. And when a sale gets made on Amazon, within a few seconds, that's being routed to a warehouse where your product is, and it's out the door. So you can literally live in Bali or Australia or South Africa, sell into America or Europe or Japan or anywhere where Amazon is, and get paid in multiple currencies without ever having to set foot there.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. I want to leave you with some notes, and I wanted to ask you, what is your legacy? You know, if you were to have the rocking chair test and you would look back in your life, would you say that, you know, currently right now, where you are right now, that you're on the right path? And if so, what is the legacy that you want to leave behind, or you want people to remember you as?
It's an interesting question. I think, you know, through the lens of what I do now as an educator in this space, what I'm thinking about a lot is making sure that I'm always in integrity with what I'm saying and what I'm doing. And I'd like to think that I get to my rocking chair and being able to look myself in the eye and say, yeah, you did a good job on that front. Because the thing about this business is that there are arbitrary lines that we draw about, you know, how much things should be, how much truth we should tell people, you know, because there is commercial pressures. Like when I go and partner and speak on stages with Tony Robbins, you know, I have to get up and I sell our programs, and there's a commercial outcome there for our partners that promote us, you know. And, you know, so you've got this sort of, no, they never say, don't tell people it's hard. Like, I've got great partners, that's not what I'm saying, but I am saying that there is all these arbitrary lines that we all make in our lives and business. And they're lines that most people won't see and cross, but you need to know where those lines are for you, because at the end of the day, you're the one that has to look you in the eye when you get to the end, and you're the one that has to take you to bed at night. And if there are lines that you're crossing and you're not doing things in integrity, it will live in your body and it will turn up as disease. And so I teach people to make money on the internet. Most of them have never done it before, and many of them are not in business before. So it's hard, it's scary, and people get hurt all the time, not just in my student base, but everybody who starts in business globally, in any business, people get hurt. It is it's a cauldron. It's like the old gladiators. You've got to learn to toughen up and grow up, and you're going to get beaten up and kicked and hurt. And so to lead a tribe of people that are putting on the armor and saying, what do I do now? And you tell them what to do now, but because they haven't done it before, they didn't see the guy over there that just clonked them on the head with a sword, you know, and to see your students who have paid you money to coach them, and sometimes there's huge gaps of personal growth that you can't put in a course. They have to go away and live 20 years of life. Yeah. It's, you know, it's like I've forgotten some of the stuff they're yet to learn, you know. So when you do this for a living and you actually care about your students, it's hard. It's emotionally hard because you see the damage that gets done, and that's the nature of life. It's warfare, and it's painful. Even as hard as you might, and with the best system in the world, people still get hurt. And so, yeah, I don't know if that was a long answer to your question, but you know what I'm talking about. And sensitive people often feel things the most. They're the ones that suffer from anxiety, depression, all that stuff. And it's not because they're weak, it's because they just care. And so it's a tough business to be in. So when I get old, that was the question. So when I get old, I just want to make sure that I'm happy with where I drew my arbitrary lines and happy with the way I showed up. And I think that's the most that we can all ask for. And I like to bring that forward, is not when we die, but what about tonight when we go to bed?
That's true.
How do we get a better night's sleep? By just actually knowing that we did the right thing. Yeah.
That's true. And I love what you said, integrity. Integrity is definitely something that most people, you know, in terms of wanting to grow a business online, they sort of go through the great line. But I love that that's just something that you inspire to be and to leave out a legacy. So beautiful. Now, what would be the one thing that you would tell somebody right now that's looking to make a shift? So they're at home right now and they're like, I want to try it. I'm not sure. I heard about this Amazon thing. My friend tried it. It didn't work out. What about me? I'm going to lose all my, what is the one thing that you would tell them right now to, if they are indecisive to make a decision, what is the one thing that you would suggest for them to do right now?
I'm going to borrow this from Gary Vaynerchuk, because I watched Gary get asked this exact question in the back of a cab in New York City. And he said, I've got 4 words for you. They're the most inspiring words that you'll ever hear. He said, you're going to die. Yeah. And I was like, wow, drop the mic, you know.
You're going to die. Yeah,
you're going to die. It is
actually.
Actually the most inspiring thing you can say to somebody who's indecisive, because we're here and gone in a heartbeat. And so, you know, I can't remember who wrote the book, but it was a female writer, and she wrote a book, and the concept was 3, 2, 1, go. And so basically, when you feel fear, you know, instead of procrastinating, just go 3, 2, 1, and go. And you either do or you don't. Life's binary like that. So it's for somebody sitting there vacillating, first of all, really just do a gut check. Is this what I really want? If I really got that thing, is it what I really want? Yes. Secondly, accept that you are going to get hurt. You are going to make mistakes. You are definitely going to hit the wall. It's like, you know, I want a boyfriend. I want a girlfriend in my life, right? Whatever it is. You think you're going to get into that without hitting a wall? Absolutely not. You are going to have fights. You are going to hit a wall. Nobody goes into a relationship thinking, I'm never going to have an argument. It'd be equally as stupid to think, I'm going to go into a business without making mistakes. You are going to make mistakes. So accept that you're going to make mistakes, and then just do it, because you're going to die.
I love it. I love it. So if people want to find out more about your course, where would they go? Just
go to reliable.education. There's no .com, so just the 3 W's, reliable.education. And then you can check us out on Instagram if you want to follow me, if you want to get more sort of chilled business advice or whatever, I'm here. And Ruth, it's been great. Thanks for having me.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Adam, for being here. And guys, again, if you want to hear more about Adam and the Amazon business, feel free to go to the website that he mentioned, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode. So this is Ruth signing out, reminding you that success is in your DNA.
Thank you for listening to the Rendezvous with Ruth podcast show. For more information to help you automate your life and your business, please visit www.ruthdorsainville.com. Remember, success is in your DNA.